why did I set up No More Mr. Nice Guy, or why did I get involved in men's work? Well, I'd like to tell you a little bit about that, and it starts quite a long time ago. I was 34. I was expecting my first child with a woman I'd been with for about 3 years. And I started a kind of my foray into personal development then, because I was so fearful of becoming a father for the first time and not being able to be the father I really wanted to be. And that was my first exploration of coaching, actually. And that's where I realized, oh, there's something more to this. There's something I don't know that's a whole world that actually would explain an awful lot, and I think provide me with some value. And it did. And it helped me be a better father, I think. But later on, I had a wonderful marriage and relationship with my wife. We brought up 2 children together. But at some point, the relationship, we started to disconnect. And it became very painful for me not to be able to connect with my wife in the way that we had done before. We built a wonderful relationship, a friendship. We'd built a house in the country, a life in the country. We'd come from the city. You know, we had chickens running around the garden. We had the dog. We had the kids. We had the quince tree and the beautiful stream at the end of the garden. Everything it was a kind of picture-perfect vision of family life, which I'd always wanted, I suppose. And then at some point, it wasn't for my wife. She decided to end the relationship. And that was the most painful experience of my life. And of course, I tried to fix it. I wanted to keep it together, that if only I could work out what I needed to improve about myself, maybe I could hold on to her and not lose this. The ground from under me was what it felt like. But inevitably that happened. It felt like the ground had been taken away from me. My wife chose to be with another guy, and we had to divorce and split the family up. And that was a horrible experience. But somebody during that experience invited me to read a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy, written by an American psychotherapist called Dr. Robert Glover. And I'm very happy to say that he's a friend of mine today. But when I read that book, it was like reading my own autobiography. It explained exactly why the things that had happened in my relationship had happened. Basically explained the psychology of me and why I had really driven my wife away, and how I could work on myself to improve other relationships in the future. And I read it, devoured it. I went to work with Dr. Glover, I did his training, and I wanted to teach men what I learned from doing that. And then I went to explore things around my emotional connection with women, my sexual connection with women, had lots and lots of relationships, and came back from that kind of journey, pretty intense journey. I spent a lot of money invested. It was actually an investment in my time and my money in learning what I needed to learn at that moment. And it's been so valuable to me. And so now I have easy relationships with women, multiple relationships with women, and men as well. Because of course, part of that journey was to overcome the problems of connecting with men and our fathers and our mothers, and not competing with them or competing with men in particular, vying for others' attention and favour, but actually working together with men and women in an inspirational way, working towards something of mutual value. And that's been a much more powerful basis upon which to connect with everybody that I now connect with, rather than it being based on the emotional needs, or please like me so that I can feel okay about myself. Well, without that, the need for that, when that's healed, then there's just a pure relationship. It's just the dynamic, the natural dynamic that happens in relationship. And that's a beautiful way, in my experience, of relating that has answered all the questions I always had about relationships in the past. And that's what I want to share with other men. And I've actually been sharing that for about 8 years with men, meeting every Thursday night for years with men and just giving what we possibly can amongst ourselves to each other. And the men that have connected with me and invested their time and money with our programs have told me how much value they've received from them. And that's given me great encouragement and inspiration to grow more and develop more content and services and help for men and for women to be able to heal their emotional wounds and to understand how intellectually to grow and to take that journey too. And if I can summarize that in as three areas, it's about developing ourselves as leaders in life, leaders in the world, you could say, maybe leaders in our families and our communities at least, providers, being able to provide, put bread on the table, as it were, money on the table, resource, value, keep everybody safe, the family safe, and provide for that family so that they can create. We don't have to worry, so that we don't have to worry about where's the next month's cash coming from, and we're not tied to selling our time for money, a limited amount of money. So providing is about helping people develop assets that leverage their own innate value. And finally, the lover. The lover is the connector, the all-embracing, that just loves, that isn't scared by the fear of rejection, has healed that, and just wants to give and support and be there and support people and give them the feeling of, well, I've got your back. When you have that kind of relationship, as a man in a relationship with a woman, for example, a woman can really relax, I've noticed. She can surrender and relax and be her intuitive feminine self, which is a gift to any masculine man. And together they're a creative force. It's the source of all creation, that connection. So we need to master it for the future and to be able to provide the next generation with what they're going to need for their futures.